Hey guys, welcome back to the channel Everyday Carry for the Everyday Guy. So today we are going to be having a look at the Sightmark Ultra Shot M-Spec. But before we get into any details, let's have a tactical intro with unnecessarily aggressive rock music. So guys, the Ultra Shot M-Spec from Sightmark is a really cool reflex sight for your sort of Ronnie AR style weapons platform. I went to the range, I did some testing. I'm not going to give you my final conclusions just yet. I'm first going to let you watch the video and then tell you what I think about it. But just to get some admin out of the way, one of the really cool features is this reflex sight comes with an integrated sun shield. I believe it's the only one of these types of deals to have this. Those of you who've operated red dots before know that like intense light is a massive enemy of your red dot. You tend to lose it if it's not strong enough in really powerful lighting conditions. I've got light here right now, and sort of there you go. That's sort of what the dot or the reticle looks like. Obviously, it's very blurred out right now. It is super sharp in the actual window itself. Just to let you know, I'm using a blue gun here, so even though I'm kind of pointing this at myself, we are 100% safe. That's what it looks like. That's what this does. Like I said, I took it to the range, I did some testing. Let's have a look at the tests, and then I'll come back and I'll give you some finer details about the optic, and I'll also give you my final opinion on it. Okay, so there's a lot of controversy around a drop test. Some people say they will never drop their firearm. Other people say that there's extreme validity to it. So I'm a bit on the fence. On the one hand, you should not ever drop your firearm. On the other hand, I don't think anyone drops their firearm on purpose. So there's got to be a degree of survivability. Now, if you drop your firearm negligently from a two-story building and your optic breaks, well, that's negligence. However, if you are in a firing position and you drop your firearm, that's a distinct possibility. Consider the fact that if you're in a home defense situation, and you get hit and you go down and you haven't slung up, your firearm is probably going to drop from about the shoulder height drop. So that's a real possibility. And similarly, or added to that, if I go down, I want my partner or whoever's with me to continue the fight. So the shoulder height drop test from a shooting position, I do get the validity of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a shoulder height drop test, take 5 shots, and we will see what's happened to the zero about 15 meters away from the target. We've got a 9mm G19. Just understand that I'm not going for a grouping that big. I'm going for a effective self-defense grouping. So let's do it. So I'm going to get a firing position, and as if I was just shot, just dropped it. Let's load up a mag and see what's what. Okay, let's go and take a look. Okay, so I'm satisfied with that grouping. That's an A4 piece of paper from 15 yards after the drop test. I'm happy that that's held zero. This was my first shot and I pulled it a bit. I would go that being my mistake. That was second, third, fourth, and fifth. So more often than not, that's going to be a kill shot on someone from 15 meters. So, and that's what I'm testing. I'm not testing, can you shoot the wings of a fly? I'm testing, can you effectively put down a threat at 15 meters after just dropping the weapon system with the Sightmark Ultra Shot M-Spec attached, and I'm happy with that. Okay, guys. So these optical sights work on basically a LED or emitter projecting a dot or reticule onto a glass. One of the scary factors is condensation, water, that sort of thing. So you want to ensure your glass doesn't fog up for one, and you also want to ensure if you are out in less than friendly weather that you're still able to use the dot effectively. Also, you want to ensure it's watertight. So I'm going to get some water on this, and we'll see how accurately I'm able to take a few shots afterwards. So let's do this. I want to get this all the way in there, and I want it to settle in there into the sort of the emitter LED. Water sort of settle in there and try to work its way into all the nooks and crannies of the dot, and then just get some actually in the glass. Now, I don't want to have to clean this out before I use it again. I basically want to be able to load up around and take a shot. So let's see. So I can tell you my dot or my reticule is perfectly clear, and I can tell you straight off the bat I'm getting really good shots on target. So let's go take a look. Remember, what I'm aiming for is not the world's smallest group. I just want to put accurate, effective shots on targets that it will effectively stop my threat. This is a target I shot earlier, but as you can see, the grouping is still very solid, and we've got effectively a one-hand size grouping. So water, it's not going to affect the Ultra Shot. The glass isn't misted, it isn't fogged up at all. I can still perfectly see my reticule, so I'm very happy with what it's shown so far. Okay, so I'm going to put some sort of rapid fire rounds into the target. Now remember, you have to take into consideration that this test is based not only on the red dot or the reflex sight's ability for me to find the dot and maintain it, but also on my own ability. So keep that in context. And what I'm wanting or going for is just good shots on the white sheet of paper. Doesn't have to be a grouping that small. I just want accurate shots to where I'm hitting what I'm shooting at effectively. So let's see what that looks like, and let's see what I can do. Okay, so I did get a bit out of control. These 4 I'm not happy with, but the remainder I am happy with. Remember, we're shooting at 15 meters, so yeah, I'll take that for now. But we definitely need to tighten up that group. The reason I stopped for a moment is because I thought the page was going to fly loose because the bottom came loose. It didn't come loose, so I took the remaining shots. But I'm happy with the rapid fire ability. And again, the target is never outside of my field of view, which means if I have to make small adjustments, I can. And the way I'm shooting is, as soon as the dot lands on the target, that's when I'm pulling the trigger. I'm not aiming for a specific spot, a minute spot on the target. I'm aiming to just hit this body shape style target. So I'm okay with that. Okay guys, so one of the big reasons you get something like this, a dot or a reflex sight, that sort of thing, is for better target acquisition and threat focusing. Tracking targets is also a big deal. If you want to, obviously, on your pistol as well, this sort of reflex sight is very similar to a pistol miniaturized red dot. It works pretty much on the same visualization, conceptualization. And so what it should effectively allow you to do is pick up your target, track your target easily, and give you a larger field of vision. When you front sight focusing and your target is not in focus, there's an evolutionary differentiation there. You know, if you think of predators, they focus on their threat or their target, which is why their eyes are in the front of their head. Prey focus on their surrounding area, which is why their eyes are on the side of the head. And that's sort of where things like red dots come into play. You don't focus on the dot, you don't focus on the sights, front or rear, you focus on your target. Now, the nice thing about having a window this size is you've got a large target aperture. So scanning from left to right through your window is a lot easier than a smaller target aperture like your tubular red dots, for example, your Wolverine. So I'm going to sort of take a few shots moving left to right and just see how quickly I can move to my next target and get an accurate shot on target. And effectively see what my mind and eye do together to improve my ability to do that. So let's give it a try. Okay. So I do know where I shot. My first shot was that. Second shot was down there. Third shot was right here. My fourth shot was that. And my fifth shot was over there. So engaging 3 targets, they're not that far apart, but what I'm trying to say here is with this kind of tool, your ability to pick up an accurate shot placement or note where your next shot is going to land is a lot simpler. You're concentrating. I know there's a dodgy statement, but you're almost concentrating on a lot less. You're looking at your target, the red dot or the reticule is overlaid on your target. And as I'm saying in all my tests, I'm not going for a shot placement this big. I'm going for shots that I feel are going to eliminate or stop my threat. That's all that matters. I'm not going for eyeball shots. I'm going for shots sort of in this area over here, which is more often than not going to result in a takedown, shall I say. So guys, those of you who shot a red dot outside or even a pistol red dot outside knows that one of the big contributing factors to struggling to find your dot is bright light, sunlight for example. So you got to have a really powerful dot in order to spot that dot when it's really bright out. Now the cool thing about this is no matter how bright it gets out, even if you are in like I say outside or this light is directly hitting your dot, it's got a sun shield. So what this effectively does is it's going to magnify the darkness inside your viewing port and also increase your ability to spot your reticule. Now this does have 10 brightness settings and it is a bright day, so I'm spotting it perfectly even without the sun shield. But at the end of the day, we can't always know what our environments are going to be like, and having an extra tactical functionality like this could give you an edge when other people are maybe a bit weaker with their less equipped red dots. So I think that's a really functional, really cool feature, and as far as I know, it's only this dot that has that. What I also want to say is the sun shield survived the drop test. I was scared when I drop it, it might damage the sun shield or crack or bend the frame. That's not happened at all. The sun shield sort of goes into the housing of the dot and it's perfectly still able to move in and out without a lot of pressure. So good deal. I'm really impressed with the Ultra Shot M-Spec. As I am pretty much with all Sightmark's gear, they seem to really know what they're doing, and yeah, it's sort of survived what I thought it might not survive, so good deal. So guys, those are the tests on this Reflex sight. Some of the more technical features are things like it's got a 12-hour auto shut off. It does have a shake awake feature, so if it shuts off by itself and you sort of pick it up and shake it, it will wake up by itself. That's really hard to show on camera because the moment you pick it up, it's awake before the camera can pick it up. So just, you know, take my word for it, it does work. It's almost impossible to film. It's got a low battery indicator. It's got a night vision mode, which I unfortunately can't film because I don't have night vision gear, but it's got a mode dedicated to night vision and the function of night vision, or sort of using it with night vision optics. It fits on a Picatinny rail mount. It's very, very easy to mount. It comes with a mounting tool, which you basically just clamp it on and tighten it down and you are good to go. It'll obviously fit into one of the Picatinny grooves. This does come with a lifetime warranty. The recoil rating on this guy is up to 50 PMG. It runs on a CR123A battery, which goes in right there. You can, you know, if you sort of use the dot on medium settings, which you can do, you're going to get around 1,500–2,000 hours out of it. That's sort of the general lifespan on medium settings. Obviously, we chuck this guy up to high all the time, that's going to drop, but it is a very bright dot, just like in general, so running it on medium settings is not going to be too much of an issue. This is waterproof up to 40 feet. So final conclusions on this, I'm really impressed. I don't know if you guys remember the Wolverine test I did where I really beat that thing up. This obviously isn't designed to be as rugged as the Wolverine, but for your everyday use, especially on your Ronnie, it's definitely a functional tool. I like things like this, and I especially like to put them on my Ronnie, because a Ronnie it's an easily accessible tool, and it's something that multiplies your abilities. What I mean by that is you are more capable inherently with this situation, with the, multiple points of contact, more control. A spare mag goes right in there, so you've immediately got 30 rounds. I like this option, especially for home defense, especially for home defense on things like farms here in South Africa. That's a touchy subject right now. I'm not going to get into it. But, it's a very simple option that really increases your abilities used correctly. And obviously, it is dependent on your training, but it's not a hard thing to almost pick up and play. So I'm very impressed, and I must be honest, I'm really impressed with what Sightmark are doing as a whole, and their whole method around how I'm able to test their gear. Sightmark, like I've said before, are the only company that have said to me, go out, test the gear. If it breaks, you can do the review anyway. We want to learn, and we don't mind learning in public. And that gives me a lot of confidence in the management, in the people who are making this gear, and it sort of gives me comfort knowing that they are actually interested in maybe even learning something new. Obviously, they have done their own testing, but I might review or do something in a different methodology. Now, I do want to just mention, guys, that all the filming was done safely. The firearms were empty and safe when they should have been, and they were live when they should have been, basically. So we had the relevant people available to make sure we could get good shots, but also do it safely. I want to say a massive thanks to Jean at Sightmark for sending me this t-shirt, but also for sending me the Ultra Shot M-Spec. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoy using it. I really appreciate them supporting the channel. They are another company who are fast becoming one of the biggest supporters of the channel. I really like Sightmark because they are here. They're like in South Africa. They've invested in being here and having product on the shelves, not placing orders from the US, that sort of thing. So, I kind of appreciate that, because I want to walk into a shop and walk out with something. I don't want to place an order and wait 6 months if the postal service allows it. The Sightmark Ultra Shot M-Spec, I'm more than impressed with it. It's held up really well. I will continue to test. I'll continue to play around with it. I did the drop testing. It wasn't on concrete, but I used the range I was at, so that's all I was able to do. Also, guys, something really cool, something really important to note is your elevation and windage adjustment is sort of here. I don't know if you can spot it here and over here, but what was really cool is straight out of the box, I did not have to make any changes. It was sort of sighted in from the get-go, which was really cool. Talking about the box, in the box you get this really plush case in which the Ultra Shot comes. You get your mounting tool. You get a sort of a cloth type thing to clean out your lens when you need to. You get the manual, and you obviously get the box. That's like my least favorite part of the show. I will, as always, continue to test. If there's something you want to see me do, let me know in the comments below. But at present, it's just another really solid, really rugged product from Sightmark. And they're new to South Africa, but they aren't a new company. And this is apparently selling really well. It's like one of the top sellers worldwide, and it is outselling one of the top brands in the US. Go and check that. I'm not going to mention names, but it's doing really well. Guys, that is it. Thank you so much for checking out the channel. More Sightmark stuff to come. I'm going to have my follow-up review of my pistol Red Dot in about a week or two. And then we've got competitions coming. OLED competition will be out very, very soon. Stay tuned for that. Thanks, guys. I'll see you guys soon. Have a good week. Cheers. God bless.